So moving on to our next panel now. So our second panel will be headed by CEO of Zamit, CEO of Planet Edu, Sanjeev. Sanjeev Sehgal is CEO of Planet Edu. Planet Edu has many other wings under them. So right now, this program is also being supported by Zamit, which is headed by Sanjeev. So Zamit is a mobile and web application which engages and informs and supports school ecosystem all across India to remain future ready. This is what he has been telling me, and he's been doing very well in this Planet Edu system. It offers solutions to schools and teachers, students and parents, all towards being ready for future. So thank you, Sanjeev, for moderating this session. And let's be future ready. We have already seen one panel and so many eminent speakers to be future ready. So over to you, Sanjeev.
Thank you, Sapna ma'am. Thank you, everybody, for your time. It has been absolutely delightful being a part of this fantastic gathering. I am just going to take time to introduce my panel of experts here. I'm starting in alphabetical order. Ma'am Archana Mankotia, she is the principal at Maharani Gayatri Devi School, Jaipur. She's an alumnus of Aditya Birla Public School. Mrs. Mankotia completed a graduation from Sophia College, Ajmer, post-graduation from Baroda, and B.Ed from Annamalai University. She's a versatile educationist. She is also is a sports enthusiast and has played cricket and hockey for the state and district level. She's also a marathoner and she's got keen interest in adventure activities. Her passion is for performing arts has led her to acquire a diploma in sitar and professional degree in Indian classical form of Kathak. That's a bachelor's of dance. She has attended various leadership programs internationally, including ones from Harvard. She has worked with teachers across Brazil, Senegal, Kenya, Morocco to produce professional development modules as well. She's been felicitated with various by various organizations for her exemplary leadership and initiatives for reinventing school curriculum. Archana ma'am is also a member of the General Council of Mayo College, Mayur School, and Vidyashram School in Jaipur. I'm going to the next panelist here. That's Bikram Singh Yadav, sir. He's the director and principal of Delhi Public School, Jodhpur. He's a visionary educationist with over 38 years experience. He's innovative administrator and a proud recipient of the National Award for Teachers. He is a B.Ed and has a postgraduate degree in physics from Meerut University. He's an avid learner and enthusiastic sports person and has love for music and traveling. He's also taught physics at illustrious institutions like Delhi Public School, Arkepuram, and is also been the principal of various other institutions. He is the founder principal of Delhi Public School, Jodhpur. He's earned a certificate of Advanced International School Leadership from Principal Training Center International School Leadership in Miami, USA. He has also been recipient of various other awards and recognition. Mr. Yadav maintains a personal blog as well, where his writings are regularly featured and followed by lots and lots of people. Mr. Yadav, welcome. Ma'am Archana Mankotia, please welcome to you as well. Moving on to the next panelist, probably does not require as much introduction. I guess everybody knows him in Rajasthan, Lieutenant General Surendra Kulkarni, Director, Mayo College, Ajmer. He's also an alumnus of Mayo College, so I think it's great to be back to school. So thank you so much for being and directing us in school. General Kulkarni has served the army for 4 decades and has been awarded the Vishish Seva Medal, the Ati Vishish Seva Medal, and the Param Vishish Seva Medal. So I think you've got it all, sir. Thank you for taking care of us. So thank you very much, General Kulkarni. Parallel to his army career, he's pursued his academic interest. He's got an economics graduate degree from Ferguson's College, Pune. He is also a postgraduate UGC Merit Scholar before he joined the army. He's also got 4 master's degree and also an MPhil. He's one of the few officers who's been sent overseas 3 times on academic assignments. He's been taught the Armored Corps Center School in Ahmednagar and in the Institute of Armament Technology, Pune, and Defense Service College at Wellington. General Kulkarni, welcome to you as well. The last panelist is Dr. Vasudha Neelmani. She's from Rockways International School, Udaipur. Dr. Neelmani is a profound, illustrious educationist with in excess of 28 years of experience, spanning teaching, administration, and mentoring and advisory roles. Dr. Neelmani has double masters in psychology and education and is a special educator as well. Dr. Neelmani is also an international certified career coach. Being a lifelong learner, she has completed a certificate career services provider as well as CIDTT diploma program. She has published many articles in leading magazines and presented papers, including one at Delhi IIT. She's a regular blogger as well and in the fields of education, technology, spirituality, life skills, etc. She is also recipient of various awards and recognitions. She is also co-founder and emotional head of Global Education Leaders Forum and a vice chairperson, Learning Forward India. Ma'am, welcome to the forum. Our topic today, sir and ladies, is redefinition of curriculum to teach social emotional skills in the VUCA world. Before we get started, just to build context, um, VUCA is what I will try to put as context. VUCA is volatility, uncertainty, complex and ambiguous. Volatility, anishtata, fluctuations and parivartan ki and with lots and lots of speed. Uncertainty, अनिश्चितता, फ्यूचर प्रिडिक्ट करने में हमारे को बहुत सारी मुश्किल और कठिनाई होने वाली है. Complex, जटिल, many factors are interacting with one another, and ambiguous, which means lack of clarity. To top this comes a situation called COVID, and uska prabhav has obviously been discussed with lots and lots of people in the conversations below. स्कूल बंद हो गए, ऑनलाइन शिक्षा चालू हो गई, and अचानक सब कुछ जरूरी हो गया. The government of Rajasthan has been ably supporting the teachers and students, and I really applaud their effort here. Um, I'm sure with all that we have heard today and what we are going to get into, we will be prepared for a better world and more control of the uncertainty and volatility that we are going to encounter in the near future. I'll start the discussion by asking General Kulkarni, sir, what do you think are the leadership skills that are needed in the VUCA world? So you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Sanjeev. First and foremost, I heard Mr. Swami of the government with great interest, and it's fantastic what they've done in Rajasthan. But I have one observation which I think all educators should pay attention to. By the end of it, he was thumping their own back so much that all is well, everything is perfect. The day educators find that everything is perfect, it's you're sitting on a plateau and about to roll down. Enough, there is never enough. This is one of the first things to understand of the VUCA world. You are dealing with people before you deal with pixels. And there is too much focus on the role of technology in resolving the pandemic issues or otherwise. तो मेरी राय ये है कि जो हमें लोगों को समझने में जो आपको स्किल्स चाहिए, जैसे मैंने कहा, लोग पहले आते हैं और टेक्नोलॉजी बाद में. इसी मुताबिक पेडागॉजी या सिखलाई का तरीका पहले आता है और टेक्नोलॉजी बाद में. तो मिसाल के तौर पे मैं आपको एक छोटा सा उदाहरण देता हूँ, and I'll say it in English if the audience doesn't mind. What the world of tomorrow is telling us is there will be new concepts and new tools. But what we mustn't forget are traditional wisdom and traditional pedagogy. चाहे वो स्टोरी टेलिंग हो, चाहे वो डांस ड्रामा हो, चाहे परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स हो, हजारों सालों से ये चलते आ रहा है. और जैसे एक छोटा बच्चा कोई भी चीज़ सीखता है बगैर स्कूल जाने के पहले भी, अगर हम उस बच्चे को उस तरीके से सिखाएं जिस तरीके से वो अपने आप नेचुरली सीखता है, तो हमारा सब कुछ ये सही हो जाएगा. अब ये जो सोशल स्किल्स हैं, इसके आने के पहले सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत है कि जब पैंडेमिक एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग्स हमें लोगों के साथ रह के काम करना है। और सबसे बड़ी स्किल हमें जो आगे के लिए चाहिए वूका वर्ल्ड में, वो है कोलैबोरेशन। और कोलैबोरेशन आप अकेले अपने आप के साथ नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो आपको लोगों के साथ मिलजुल के करना है। तो जो अभी पैंडेमिक में हुआ है, और एजुकेशनिस्ट ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, बट अगर मैं इसको इंग्लिश में कहूँ तो इट हैज बीन अडेप्टेशन नॉट एंटिसिपेशन। और
करेक्ट।
सबसे बड़ा लेसन हमें पिछले साल का ये लेना चाहिए कि आगे चल के कोई भी डिसरप्शन आए उसके हमें एंटिसिपेट करना चाहिए, ना कि हम उसके साथ रिएक्ट करें और खुश हो जाएं कि भाई हमारे सामने समस्या आई थी और हमने उसको निपटा लिया। सो इसलिए अगर कोलैबोरेशन सबसे बड़ा आपको कल की ज़रूरत है, और कोलैबोरेशन में आगे चल के कल के नौकरियां भी मिलेंगी आपको। जैसे एमपी जी ने भी कहा कि राजस्थान में टूरिज्म की बहुत स्कोप है। अभी इट्स अ पीपल ड्रिवन इंडस्ट्री। इफ यू डोंट हैव गुड कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, इफ यू डोंट कम अप विद सम क्रिएटिव ऑफरिंग्स एंड प्रोग्राम्स, फिर आपके पास टूरिस्ट क्यों आएंगे, कहीं और चले जाएंगे।
बिल्कुल।
तो ये सब करने के लिए हमें सबसे ज़्यादा सोशल और इमोशनल स्किल्स पे ध्यान देना चाहिए। प्रॉब्लम ये होती है कि करिकुलम हमेशा आज का और बीते हुए कल का हमें एक चेहरा दिखाता है, और चाहिए हमें करिकुलम आने वाले कल का। तो इसलिए अगर हम एक अच्छे स्कूल की या अच्छे गवर्नमेंट स्कूल या कोई भी स्कूल हो, अगर हम एक अच्छी प्रथा चलाना चाहते हैं तो हमें समय निकालना पड़ेगा। और मुझे ना तो एमपी साहब के लेक्चर में, ना आईएएस ऑफिसर सेक्रेटरी के लेक्चर में ये सुनने को मिला कि हमने एक रिसर्च डिवीजन निकाला है जो ये देख रहा है कि कल की क्या ज़रूरतें हैं, ताकि हमारा करिकुलम और असेसमेंट उस तरफ चले जाए, ताकि आने वाले कल के लिए हम बच्चों को तैयार करें।
बिल्कुल।
सो अभी बाकी मेरे साथ जो पैनलिस्ट हैं मैं उनको सबको जानता हूँ, मुझसे भी ज़्यादा उनका तजुर्बा है एजुकेशन में, तो मैं यहीं छोड़ दूंगा। अगर इसके बाद दोबारा कोई मेरे को मौका मिलेगा या सवाल आएगा तो मैं बात कर लूंगा।
बिल्कुल सर, एंड आई जस्ट टेक दिस पॉइंट फर्दर टू अर्चना मैम ऑन, आपने जहाँ छोड़ा मैं वही पूछना चाहूंगा अर्चना मैम से। अर्चना मैम, जनरल सर ठीक बोल रहे हैं, वी नीड टू प्रिपेयर फॉर द बैच ऑफ 2033, आज से 12 साल पूरा आगे, विच मीन्स वी डोंट इवन नो व्हाट्स टुमारो, लेट अलोन 12 साल में आगे क्या होने वाला है, प्रिडिक्ट करना बड़ा मुश्किल है। How do you think we should go about trying to prepare for the batch of 2033? And more importantly, how do you think teachers can be prepared so that they can prepare the batch for 2033?
Thank you, Sanjeev, for asking that question. And I'll take it forward where General Kulkarni has left. I think he said it very rightly that as John Dewey also said, if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow.
Yes.
It's there, and this is true at any point of time. Today, when we are talking of redefining curriculum, it has to happen every day. It's not just because pandemic has happened. The only thing is now everything has speeded up. So in a VUCA world where there is more volatility and uncertainty and complexity and ambiguity, we need to be much better prepared. And taking a cue from the Army General Kulkarni, he also, when he goes to war, he doesn't know what the enemy is going to do. But he's been trained so beautifully and trained so rigorously that he's prepared for any kind of a strategy or tactics being applied by the enemy. Am I right, General Kulkarni? So,
oh, you're always right.
Thank you so much. So that is how we have to, of course, we are not into a war, but we need to look at that preparedness has to be, as he very rightly pointed out, for a future, which of course is not known to anyone. But we know that the future will be full of challenges and it will be full of unpredictable circumstances. So to prepare our children, we need them to develop life skills. It's not about knowledge. It's not just about technology. It is about life skills. And some of the most important ones is resilience. I think this pandemic, the most important life skill that the pandemic has taught us is resilience and perseverance in the face of any kind of calamity. We need to teach them creativity and innovativeness, because we need to, as again General Kulkarni said, it is not just reacting to a situation, but coming out of it with creativity and innovative ways of solving problems. So critical thinking and creative thinking is again very important, which we have to, which our children should develop. Technology, of course, is the important thing, but technology with keeping humanity in mind. So it's not just about using artificial intelligence or MI for something, but also using the right kind of judgment in the right kind of circumstances. So I feel that we really need to focus on life skills for our children, which we have not focused all these years. It has mainly been transmission of knowledge and information. We haven't gone up in the Bloom's technology of understanding, analysis, synthesis, and creativity. So for children, we really need to focus on that. For teachers, the most important thing is that teachers have to understand that there is no way out but change. So first important thing is they have to change their mindset, because we teachers teach the way we were taught, but we have to look at the futuristic world, and we need to change. We need to adapt to technology. We need to unlearn and relearn a lot of things, which is a very difficult thing. But we need to do that. We need to give experiential learning to children so that they understand situations and react in the most appropriate manner. So I feel it is life skills which really need to be focused on, apart from knowledge and technology, for preparing children, as well as teachers preparing the children for future.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's very well put. I'll just take from where you left and ask Yadav sir, because he's been in it with a lot of rigor. Sir, how do we actually handhold children to the path of critical thinking and innovative learning? Sir, you are on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Thank you and good evening all. I'm sorry we get so much engrossed in what is being discussed that tend to forget about unmute self, and at times being silent is also a good way of fighting this VUCA world. At the outset, I would like to thank Sapnaji for approaching and making me a part of this wonderful learning. Though I'm not very social that way, though I would talk about social skills to be developed amongst the children and the teachers. But before that, two things. I don't know whether it came a surprise to me or I had seen it before. I wrote once when there was some sort of issue going on regarding the fee and all that. And I did write in my blog that in spite of people fighting for the fee to be paid, not to be paid, I think the government and the parents should have forced all schools to adapt to new way of teaching. I mean, in spite of really being into that discussion. And that is what the government should have done, that as the secretary was saying, the director was saying that so many percent, 99% of the schools did not have the online classes. I think for the benefit of the kids, they should have been asked, rather forced, to adapt to that new mode. So that is one observation. And second thing is what General started with, is speaking the truth. So we need to have the community of truth speakers. Unfortunately, in today's time, we tend to avoid for reasons known to everyone, what the situation is all around. But at the same time, there are people like him who are absolutely to the point and really want to fight the problem head on. I mean, not going here and there, straight tackling that problem. Rightly said that it should be proactive approach, not the reactive approach, which has been the case as far as the pandemic is concerned. Now, when it comes to VUCA world, before what you asked me, I would go to that. But before that, I would like to talk about this VUCA world. I mean, this word is, this is so much into picture nowadays. I mean, in every seminar you hear it, and it appears to be like, I don't know, what is this all about? But the fact is that we in India, and particularly in western part of Rajasthan, have been facing it right from the beginning. Look at Bikaner, look at Jaisalmer, look at Barmer. I mean, the kind of situation the people face there. They don't know tomorrow what is going to happen to them, what they would get. And they are well prepared for all that, and they fight it like anything. And the same is the situation when it comes to the education system. Look at a teacher. I mean, I've been with the kids for the last 38, 39 years. And even as on today, I do worry at times when I go to the classroom. I don't know what the situation would be, what kind of questions would be asked, what kind of children mentality would be there. So I need, and I can't necessarily forecast every day. I mean, at times I get caught in a situation where I feel like really worried about. So I face that VUCA situation as a teacher every day, and our teachers, I mean, they do it on daily basis. It's not a kind of business, because this word came or this thing came from America, and then it became to business, and then from business to education. Now, education always had that volatility, always. It's not that it has come because of pandemic. Pandemic has been, of course, very severe one. Now I come back to the question, Mr. Sanjeev, which I would have forgotten. Can you remind me? What did you ask me?
Most definitely, sir. I'm just wondering how the teachers can handhold the children to the path of critical thinking and innovative learning, which are
the most important. Thank you very much to reminding me that. And the important thing is that, see what happens in education system as in today. There is what, and what is that what? What subject am I going to teach? There is how. How am I going to teach? What technique I'm going to use? That is how. And why? Then come sometimes why? Why should I teach this subject? I teach physics, but I do not know how many times did I go to the classroom and first I told, why should you study physics? Or why should you study this particular subject? I think, or the topic, that should be the first thing which I as a teacher should do, so that the children really know why should they be studying, not only for IIT and I mean, getting some job, etc., but there is something beyond that. And the last one, which is not usually talked about, and it has not been talked about since morning, of course, since the afternoon we started at 3 o'clock, and I've been also very actively listening to every statement, and which are very powerful statements at times. But if you look at the who part is very, very important to me. And who is who? And that who is the teacher. I mean, this teacher, when you said that, how would you handhold the child? So it's basically, you said how the teacher would do it. I mean, you didn't mean necessarily literally B.S. Yadav. I mean, the teacher in the classroom. And how much do we really pay attention to that? These teachers, they came out with flying colors during the time when they needed to do it. Do we create that kind of a situation on daily basis for them? If we can do, they will definitely be helping their kids so well. So here, what I would like to say, that we should have 2-3 things in mind, that when we teach there in the classroom, when we are with the children in the classroom, I mean, the situation has been like, people would say that it is the teacher-centric class. No, it shouldn't be teacher-centric class. It should be a student-centric class. But I read in one wonderful statement by one of the educationists in the book called Courage to Teach by Parker J. Palmer. And he says that let us have the subject as the central part and the teacher and the student around it. Create a subject, create a situation. It can be emotional, it can be social, it can be critical thinking, it can be anything else, and then have the discussion. Give freedom to everyone to discuss about. Do not make teacher the expert. Do not make the child as the taker. I mean, put them in a circle on the circumference, and let the topic, whatever you're going to discuss, at the center. And if we can give that kind of freedom, I think we would be able to develop whatever we want to develop. It can be critical thinking, it can be social skills, it can be emotional skills, it can be intellect. And I strongly believe as a teacher that 3 things should be kept in mind. It's not only intellect which is going to help. Intellectuality, then emotional, and then spiritual. All 3 have to go together. And if we can combine I think all the problems will be taken care of. Even your VUCA world will be taken care of. So that is what I would like to submit to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's very interesting to know that you live the VUCA world already. And it's just that we are learning the VUCA world. This is fantastic to know that you'll be far ahead of most of us because you've experienced it and you're better equipped. And just taking on from where you leave to Dr. Neelmani. Ma'am, what do you think are the lifelong skills that we need to equip the children, the teachers, all of us, so that we can then be that much better off when we go around in the world tomorrow?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sanjeev. Good evening, General Kulkarni. How are you? So great to be here. Before we talk about lifelong skills, I would, being a hopelessly positive person, I will just flip your VUCA world. So, Sapna requested me to have a combination of English and Hindi. So I had made some notes. So when we are talking about volatility, so the antonym for that is calmness. So at any point in time, whatever a child or a human being is facing, वो कैसे उस सिचुएशन में शांत भी रह सकता है, स्थिरता भी ला सकता है, और स्थिरता के साथ ठहराव भी आ सकता है. So I think what we need to teach our students is all flip side or opposite of VUCA world. When we are talking about uncertainty, we don't know what's going to happen next. Life is so unpredictable. So yes, making our students, making our teachers, because teachers like Yadav sir rightly said, when you asked him a question, so it didn't mean that Yadav sir is going to teach the innovation or creativity to their children, but his teachers will. So our teachers will. So and teachers, एक बहुत पुरानी कहावत है, एक इंसान वही दे सकता है जो उसके पास है. So if a teacher is calm, if a teacher is positive, so she will pass on that positivity, she will pass on that thing to the child. So हमने and then it comes to about complex. World is complex, but उस complexity को कैसे simple बनाया जा सकता है, that skills need to be taught. Yes, it is an ambiguous world, but how to find a definite thing in that ambiguity. So that takes for a call. And you know, when we are talking about imparting those skills, so Ms. Archana rightly said she spoke about perseverance, she spoke about resilience, General Kulkarni also spoke about certain things. So ye कहना बहुत आसान है, but you know, it is easier said than done. So we have to, in the everyday culture, when a teacher and student, believe me, we all are teachers, and we know who were our favorite teachers, and those were one of the reasons that we are in the field of education. जब वो that bonding is there between a student and child, so he will go out of the way, he or she will go out of the way to listen to that teacher. So that sense of belongingness in everything what they are doing, everything, whether it is a teacher-student relationship, whether it is a principal-student relationship, whether it is so that sense of belongingness, that transparency, that we are able to go through it, that positive attitude in the students, with the compassion and with the, see it we have to admit that हम लोग बच्चों को ये तैयार करवाएंगे कि problems तो आएंगी, so we have to tell them the way to solve those problems. We are not going to be there with them all the time. So having said that, with everything, I would want the skills, lifelong learning skills for any child, for any human being, to be, you know, adapting those 5 C's of 21st century, the interpersonal skills, and there are many, but for me, the most important thing is स्थिरता के साथ गति रहना. That is most important, and to make best out of whatever life throws at us.
Brilliant, man. That's really very positive. I think whenever we are down, I think just pick up the phone and talk to you. Just get some positive energy and move on.
Anytime, anytime.
General sir, I'm back to you with just asking a question about attention span of the kids these days. How do we keep them engaged? I mean, there's just so much that distracts them, attracts them, engages them, yet we're unable to do that correctly, at least with such certainty that ma'am meant. Sir, unmute, sir.
There are two things to this. One is what you are calling a distraction is because your frame of reference is of your era.
Correct.
It is their style of engagement. The only thing is, and there's research to show that they flip into at least 8 different things within a minute.
Correct.
So it's all forms of engagement. Now, if we understand this and we adapt our pedagogy to suit this, they will remain engaged. You take a small kid and put him in front of a video game or a cartoon, that kid will not take the eyes off for half a second. They skip their meal also. You understand? So
Yes.
the problem is ours. We are trying to fit a child today. I really feel seriously bad about it, that we have pulled the child out of our children because we are trying to fit a child into our frame of reference. We need to adapt to their frame of reference
Brilliant.
and teach the way they learn, as I said at the beginning. Okay. There is also one other problem with it. Why teachers are perpetually seemingly behind the curve. Because between what is state of the art, and which is a lot around technology today, and what is obsolescence, used to have sometime a 2-decade gap or something, Today it is down to a couple of years. So if they were talking about this child of 2033, the child may face 3 generations of changes in pedagogy and education and technology.
Correct.
Seen. So therefore, the curriculum, the assessment, and the way our teachers move with the children is way behind where the children are moving.
Correct.
So that is one part. But everybody's talking about this VUCA thing, though it's not linked directly to your question, but I'm dying to say this, that we got to also look at the positive side of what the acronym VUCA can stand for. And if you look at it, I'm saying it lightheartedly, but if you look at it seriously, there is some depth in it. That VUCA, the V should stand for vision, the U for understanding, the C for clarity, and A for agility. If our system of school leadership looks at these 4 things about vision, understanding, clarity, and agility, then we may be able to address the problems of a VUCA world from a positive side, like Nilmani ma'am is always into. I'm just putting words into thoughts.
That's brilliant. So that's really, really well put. I think it is far more serious and definitely less lighthearted that we should understand. Actually, that will just completely change.
This is VUCA 2.0, General Kulkarni. It's already, we are talking about agility. We are changing it into adaptability.
Absolutely. I'll just go to ma'am Mankotia again and just ask on one basic question that a lot of people have talked about the workplace challenges of mental health, well-being, performance capability. How do you do all of that?
The workplace challenge here in our context is what you're talking about. One is in the education sector, it is for the teachers. And if you're talking in general, it's outside world.
Correct.
So in context of teachers, actually the experience in this last year has been that some teachers have faced a lot of stress because they had to overnight upgrade, they had to upgrade themselves into a digital space and had to learn new things in a short span of time. So they did go through a lot of stress and all. So apart from that, teaching today's generation, and as you said, in a VUCA world, there are so many complexities and so many, there's so much of fluidity in the children's behavior that again, workplace mental stress is too much for the teachers. So I'm here in context of education, I'll speak that yes, it is important that apart from looking at what we need to teach the students, apart from looking at how teachers need to upgrade, I think a very important factor that we need to look at is how we keep our children, our teachers free from stress and free from unnecessary pressure, how to make them happy so that they can create happy classrooms. So it's a very important focus that we really need to look at, especially in context of this pandemic, where teachers have also gone through a very, very challenging phase because they had to balance, like if I talk in context of my school, where 98% teachers are lady teachers, so they had to balance work at home and school and everything. So we have to take steps to make sure that teachers also get some kind of a respite from mental stress. We also need to have a lot of workshops and orientation programs for them. And we need to work out a happy situation where they are happily doing what they have come to do in the school.
Understood.
I will limit myself to the working space in education because
Absolutely.
otherwise it becomes a very large. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yadav sir, now that General Saab has already redefined VUCA, and that's pretty much in the lines of what you just said, how do we take advantage of the redefined VUCA? Vision, understanding, caring, agility.
See, I would continue with what Archana ji just mentioned about teachers. And of course, they're the key. That was the reason the last, when I was speaking to you, I did say that who is very, very important. And in today's time and before as well, the most important thing was that whether as a teacher or as an individual in some other organization working, you are working, everybody is working here or there, I must know myself. Knowing self is the key. What is my identity? What am I good at? And what should I be good at? I mean, it's a different thing. But what am I good at? So when I talk of integrity and identity of a teacher, so that is very, very important for someone to know. Because if I as a teacher know myself, I would be better prepared to know my children. And if I know my children, then I would be able to create a meeting point of the two. And if there is a meeting point of the two, that fear I was talking about, freedom from fear, that fear would go. And the moment fear goes, then we start enjoying whatever we are doing. Either we are teachers or we are the students, we both have got rid of the fear. Hence, we would start liking each other, learning from each other, and knowing each other better than and we would be free to talk to each other. When I was not able to switch on audio, I forgot initially, and I was just mentioning to you, just to start being a little comfortable talking to you, was that the speech and silence both are very, very important.
Correct.
I mean, we need to understand it, and we need to make our children understand the same.
Fantastic.
Similarly, boundary and openness, these are very, very important. You have to create a sort of wholeness. The question which you put to me, I'll take it in that direction. You have to create wholeness. There is nothing absolute. In this world, wholeness does not come without so-called opposite. If there is honesty, there is dishonesty also. Only honesty doesn't make something complete. So you have got to have an individual voice, but at the same time, you need to create a group voice, community voice. I mean, you can't do only with community voice, or you can't do with individual voice at all. You have got to be hospitable. You have got to be hospitable, but at the same time, you have got to that charging sort of mood also. I'm going to do this great. I'm hospitable to you, and you as a host can be hospitable to me, but you have to charge me to say something which is creative, which is constructive. It can't be only hospital, goody, 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 goody. No, that can't be for always. So these are certainly a few things which I would like every one of us should take. Knowing self is very, very important. Knowing child will come later on. If I know I can really be a good learner, then I would definitely be a good teacher.
Brilliant.
If not, and I would be able to appreciate the child's problem.
Bilkul,
I would be able to. So that is all what I would like to say.
Fantastic. So you've touched upon collaboration like General Saab did in the first point as well. That's fantastic. Just, I am running out of time. I'm just going to ask the last question to Dr. Neelmani. Ma'am, what do you think we should do to transform the learning spaces, therefore, to meet this challenge of VUCA?
See, it has to be a blend of, I think, best of both worlds. I can put it that way. So there was a time when we used to say that, oh, we don't want our children to be exposed to the machines, the laptops, the phones and everything. And now within a year, the tables have turned. So, so what has happened is that we have to, the solution is that we are having the best of both worlds. We are going to have a hybrid learning model wherein on and off, the teacher and students are having a face-to-face interaction also, but at the same point in time, they are going to have an online interaction also. And when we are talking about this, when we are talking about, you know, how we are going to utilize the learning spaces. So learning spaces does not always mean the infrastructure things. It also means that, like General Kulkarni talk about a lot of vision. So the vision has to be shared when we are talking about the education sector. So I think vision has to be shared with all the stakeholders, whether it is students, whether it is teachers, whether it is parents, that now we have to, and of course we have to talk about the proactive measures rather than being reactive. Rightly said by General Kulkarni that everybody, I mean, with all due respects to the government officials, it's not about thumping the back. It is to how to be prepared, how well we are prepared next in the socio-emotional context. Absolutely. Not in the infrastructural context, but the socio-emotional context. So one thing which I had made my notes on was, of course, the vision, the transparency, and having a shared vision with all stakeholders. Being an open-minded approach, adapting to that, coming out of the comfort zone. Like again, I will quote General Kulkarni spoke about that they were talking about they have done this, but when this complacency inertia sets in, we stop working. So the complacency inertia should never be stepping in any organization, especially the education sector, because we are dealing with the students from they were called 21st century kids to millennial kids to now the generation Z kids. So to talk to them also, we have to be prepared ourselves first, because we are the one. And when I'm talking about preparing ourselves, I'm talking about the teachers. So learning spaces have to be so open, so innovative, and they should be there, that they are able to take and working on oneself. Like Mr. Yadav said, when we are not working on ourselves, how we are going to give that to our students? So, and of course, I would share my favorite anecdote here before I end. So एक बार एक लकड़हारा, he was very good at cutting woods, तो वो जंगल में जाता है और एक साथ बहुत सारी लकड़ियां काटता है वो. नेक्स्ट डे वो फिर जाता है, तीसरे दिन फिर जाता है, एंड उसको लगता है कि मेरी एफिशिएंसी ड्रॉप होती जा रही है बिकॉज ये लकड़ियां क्यों नहीं कट रही हैं. And then he went to his mentor और उन्होंने बोला, so he said, you have not sharpened your saw. So as an educationist, we have to sharpen our saws all the time. We cannot be in today's business with yesterday's tools. So I think I will conclude here and over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. We can go on, and I think we are just getting warmed up. And Sapna ma'am is like saying, "Bas."
No, not we, but there are other panelists who are waiting,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
we will be left with no spectators then.
Absolutely.
She was very tense for the last few minutes.
Thank
No,
you.
no. I'm used to this, so I have to manage time here. From behind, I keep messaging everyone, time up, Sanjeev.
This topic can go on endlessly. I think we should get together outside this group and talk more at length about what we can do together.
Yes,
And be
we'll do that.
prepared
We'll go to
for-
Rajasthan.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. With you, we'll go to Rajasthan as well. We'll
Most
become-
welcome. Most welcome, Sapna.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you all the eminent educators of Rajasthan. You are most welcome to be here and listen to our third panel discussion, which is going to be very engaging again. And it's your state, so be here. Don't move. Please be here.